14 WILI and 95.3 FM presents Hometown Threads, a closer look at our community and the people that make it go. Every week, you'll hear uplifting stories from our local businesses and our neighbors. Now, here's our host for Hometown Threads, Keith C. Rice.
Episode 67 of Hometown Threads on 14 WILI 95.3 FM, Willimantic Today, Facebook. Let's see, the WILI Radio YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, WILI Radio. And Spectrum, for those of you who still have cable, Spectrum 192. I shouldn't say there's a lot of people who still have cable. Yeah. We have an updated sign here, by the way, speaking of 95.3 FM. And our guest, Nick Poulin, we'll just get to in just a sec, is here for the debut. Well, we've had these signs. Well, they're actually magnets that we put on our station vehicles. But we had to get rid of the old school Good Company 1985 billboard that we had in here. And explain that it's 1400 AM and 95.3 is Good Company, WILI. We still do say Good Company. Or Wayno would have me. He did, got to keep saying Good Company. It goes back to, well, not pre-Wayno days, but back to the 80s, I think we started saying Good Company. Okay, I'm digressing. Hometown Threads comes your way every Tuesday on WILI and all those various platforms that we just mentioned. Big thanks to Liberty Bank, Be Community Kind, with 3 great local locations. Of course, across the street from the radio station, 679 Main Street, Willimantic. West Main Street, Willimantic, Gateway Commons, managed by my lovely wife, Marianne. And, of course, the Liberty branch in Mansfield, up towards Stores, Route 195 in Mansfield, Liberty Bank, Be Community Kind. Thank you to Liberty. And J. Matt Rupar, say hello to the fine folks.
Hello.
And, of course, you can always check out all our podcasts at WILI.com. And the podcast for Hometown Threads brought to you by Triple E Pro Clean Services. And here we go for episode 67 of Hometown Threads. It is a pleasure to bring in Nick Poulin. Great to have you, Nick.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
And Nick, of course, is all about Raise the Standard. Now, for those of you I know on radio, you can't see it. Nick brought in some swag, some Raise the Standard swag. We'll learn all about Nick and Raise the Standard and what that's all about. I grew up with, I feel real old saying this, because how old are you now, Nick?
I am almost 30.
Oh, my goodness. I grew up with Nick's father. We still affectionately call him Jamie, but it's James Poulin. And, wow, you're actually on Hometown Threads before your father. Don't tell him that.
I won't tell him.
It's a little too late now. Hope he's not mad that I got his son on before him. But, he still works for the town, right?
Yeah,
your father?
yeah, we can get him on here. He'd love it.
Now, what's he do for the town again? I know.
He's just maintenance work. He mows the lawns.
He's been doing that for years.
Yeah. I'd say like 15 years now.
Okay, and now it's time to find out about Nick Poulin. I can't believe you're almost 30. My goodness gracious. And so let's see. Are you the oldest, by the way?
I'm the middle one.
You're the middle child.
I'm the middle.
The Jan Brady.
Okay. What I say is, what's about the middle child? It's like an Oreo. The best part's in the middle.
Wow, that's good.
That's why I'm here.
All right. So you grew up around here as your dad did, and as I said, I grew up with your dad. So you're a Willimantic.
Yep.
What's that? Through thick and thin, right?
I went to Wyndham High School. I lived on Southridge, right across from the beautiful Frog Bridge. Yeah.
So let's see. Went through the entire Wyndham school system. Where'd you go to grade school?
I didn't go to college or anything like that.
No. Where'd you go to grade school?
Natural. I went to North Wyndham.
I went to North Wyndham.
Then I went to Wyndham Middle. Then I went to Wyndham High, and that was it.
Now, your father and I, when we were, wasn't Wyndham Middle. We was Kramer. Obviously, as you probably heard back then.
Yeah.
When did they? I may have asked this before to one of my guests. Does anybody know when I went from Wyndham Middle when it changed from Kramer to Wyndham Middle? Does anybody know that year off the top of their head?
I don't know. It would probably, yeah.
So it was Wyndham Middle when you were there, which was around what years?
I don't know when that was a long time ago.
God, if you're almost 30.
I have a hard time figuring out when I graduated high school.
Because if you're almost 30, I was thinking, gee, I'm surprised it wasn't Kramer still. But anyway, that's a whole nother. All right, so you went through Wyndham Middle and then on to Wyndham High School.
Mm-hmm.
What sports did you do at Wyndham, Nick Poulin?
I wrestled. I played football. I did a little bit of pole vaulting. I wasn't very...
vaulting?
Yeah, I wasn't very good at it. It was like, let's go to the highest part of the stick and then try to make it over.
So Wyndham had track, right?
Yeah, I did track. And primarily did wrestling. I was a wrestler.
Like your father, right?
Like my father.
He was an all-state wrestler, wasn't he?
All-state, all-American.
All-American, too?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, I knew he was all-state. He was all-American?
Yeah, all-American.
Wow. Well, okay. Sorry, I'm asking.
I had some big shoes to fill.
I know. So how you wrestled all 4 years? You must have.
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
I played football my freshman and senior year, and wrestled the whole time.
Why didn't you play football 4 years too?
I was just passionate about focusing on wrestling, and I thought, hey, why don't I do that? I've done it since I was 5 years old.
So wrestling was your first love,
Yeah.
and tell us about that. The years you wrestled for, was Crudden still there?
No, Crudden wasn't there. Pat Risley. He
Okay,
was
it's
my
Pat.
head coach, and then I had Kurt Jenkins
Yep,
there. and
sure.
he was helping me. Then we had Mike Haggerty.
So Hags, I just saw
Yeah,
him. I think it was the
Hags.
night you guys were trivia night down at doing trolley trivia. I don't know if that might have been another night. Hags showed up
Different
one of those
night,
Thursday
yeah.
nights. So you had
I had all
you
of
had
them.
Pat Risley, Kirk Jenkins, and Mike Haggerty.
Yeah.
Were we missing any other coaches? Is that it?
Eric Gibson was there. He
Okay.
was helping.
How about some of your teammates back in the?
We were called the A Train because we would go through and just.
Did you win a state championship?
We did win, not a state championship, but we did win the Class M's and S's by like over 100 points.
There's been so many great. With the history of Wyndham Wrestling is incredible. Going back
Yes.
to my cousin and my best man at my wedding, Jeff Bennett, wrestled with your father.
Yes,
You-
yeah.
In fact, that team was unbelievable as well. Bennett, Poulin, and I'm missing a bunch of people that were on that team. Probably Mike Haggerty might have been on that team.
No, I think Mike was a little younger than my father, but he was. You have
Well,
people. You have the Goodwins. The Goodwins.
Oh, the Goodwins, of
Ernie
course,
Goodwin,
yep.
Andy Goodwin. And
Yeah.
you got Kirk Jenkins, who's a New England champ.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the Alvarezes, who are wrestled.
They should do a book on Wyndham Wrestling.
They
Seriously,
should.
it's unbelievable.
They should. Honestly,
So you wrestled for all 4 years. Were you a captain too?
I was not a captain.
A
I was not
captain. Really? You're a Poulin?
Yeah.
You weren't a captain?
I was.
Who do we
just
talk to
wasn't
about
in
that?
Just wasn't in my shoes, I guess.
Yeah, but you're such a great leader, and we're going to get to the raise the standard thing. So what happens after high school? What are you thinking about as you enter senior year and you're like, okay, what do I want to do next? Because obviously raise the standard didn't
Happen right away,
Didn't
no.
happen right away. So tell us, you're in your senior year. What's going through Nick Poulin's head?
I didn't go to college. I decided that that's something I just didn't want to do, and I wanted to explore other opportunities. So I moved to New York City. I spent 8 years there, lived there. I had started my own business at one point, more to the end of it. But I wanted to give myself some opportunities and meet people that I might not meet here in Connecticut. So I started modeling like for a year and a half, and I decided that's something I just didn't want to do with everything that goes along with modeling. And then I started personal training, and then I started training high net worth individuals. And
What? That's a great idea. So right out of how'd you? Was that your idea? Did you go to your parents and say, "Hey,
no,
look,
I didn't even tell them. I just moved.
whoa, tell this. I got to hear this story. I never knew this." So one day you just woke up, you're gone. Your parents didn't know where
Yeah,
you went.
no, I told them. I said I'm moving to New York.
Oh,
and
well, you
I
told
took
them,
a
okay.
U-Haul. Well, not that day. I was like, I'm going.
They had
packed
no
up a
idea
U-Haul.
you had this planned.
No,
Oh, this
no.
is-
I
Wow.
was going there in hopes of like trying to get a job, and then I said, you know what? Like if I procrastinate, then I won't do it. So I just said I get in a U-Haul. I packed it up. My parents didn't come with me. I just went, and
Wow, that's incredible.
I said I want to give myself an opportunity, and I thought if I lived here, I would end up doing construction or end up being a cop, and I thought I want to give myself a good shot,
So that's good by you by doing that, and just New York City, L.A., whatever. You go to a city like that, you're bound to run into influential people. So
yeah.
okay, so you said modeling was the first thing you looked into in the Big Apple. Tell us how long did you do that, and you must tell us about some of the people you met along the way while you were in New York.
So modeling was something that I was doing prior to moving to New York. And
Oh,
I
you
had
were
to-
prior, so you
Yeah,
were doing it
so I was
here a
doing it in
little.
Connecticut. They'd fly out to Florida and do it and come back.
How'd you get into that while you were still here?
It was just social media.
Social
I
media.
got reached out by some people and did it for that for a long time.
Before-
People still ask me. I'll see them in restaurants. You still modeling? I'm like, no, not
right.
anymore.
I think I remember this too. And before we continue with the whole New York thing, and then we'll get into Raise the Standard. That's your big brand, right?
Yeah, my big clothing brand. Yeah.
Big clothing brand, and boy, it's really taken off. Nick is what you call you're a digital creator now too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And for those of you who don't know what a digital creator is, he's huge on TikTok. How many followers again?
200,000, something.
Instagram as well.
Yeah,
Go ahead and shout out your handles on both platforms.
On Instagram, Raise the Standard is where you can find us. TikTok is Raise the Standard Apparel. If you want to follow me, it's Nicholas_Poulin, Poulin.
So you kind of built up this following while in New York, right?
Yeah, because I was in magazines for training like celebrities. That's what I did for a living.
I
for a
remember
long
seeing this
time.
going, holy smokes.
J-Lo, I've trained Lizzo, I've trained...
Tell us, what?
Yeah.
I don't think I knew. Tell us about this.
Yeah,
How'd
so
you-
I just got, I was the head trainer for the Four Seasons Hotel. So I was training high net worth individuals, and I created a name for myself, and then it put me in a position where I was like, okay, I want to start my own business. I've been working really hard, and that's what happened.
You must have run into somebody who kind of helped you. Like
Yeah.
you just don't walk in, enter New York City, and there you are. You're applying to be the fitness instructor at the Four Seasons. How did
So,
that all come about?
I actually had a mentor. So I moved back to, this is a long story, so I'll try to keep it short. I moved back to Connecticut because I missed my family. I was homesick, so I said, it's not working out.
How long were you in New York before you moved back?
A year, probably.
Okay.
A year, and then I moved back, and then I got a mentor who owned a gym, and it was a private gym. The membership was like $90,000 a year, so it was all high net worth individuals. And this guy was like, "Listen, I want to give you an opportunity. I'm going to mentor you as long as you find a job." And this was on a Thursday night. He's like, "You can stay here, and I'll help you. I'll give you a credit card. I'll let you get on your feet, and you pay for everything." And he's like, "But you got to find a job." And I didn't know anybody at the time, like in that area.
Oh
and,
my goodness!
So I left his gym, which was the last person I met at that time was Fred Adler, who is a big venture capitalist. And he said, just keep trying. So I went to Victoria's Secret. I went to this place. I went to another spot, and then I went to Burger Heaven, which was the job that I got, and that was the one I secured to stay. And I told him I was wearing a suit because I met this guy, so I said, "Hey, I'm going to dress nice so that I look impressive." And so they said, "If you get this job, if you get a job, I'll help you." And so I got this job as a waiter, and that kind of put me in a predicament where I started personal training his clients, and then I became the vice president of the company.
Wow.
So I've trained like George Soros, I've trained Charlie Rose, Barry
You've
Dillon.
met these celebrities
yeah.
very up close and personal. And,
Yeah.
All right, well, quick. Well, let's see. I get so many questions. Who was your favorite celebrity to train, and who was your least favorite celebrity?
I think Jennifer Gardner is like a sweetheart.
Jennifer Garner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's
why
really
did Ben
sweet.
mess that up, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was Ben
I don't
or...
know.
So you trained her. She was
Yeah,
nice?
at the Four Seasons. Yeah, she was really nice, very sweet.
All right, who name some others that you enjoyed training?
I've trained Lizzo. I've done J-Lo. I've more so business moguls. That's what I really did.
Least, you don't have to get into why, but least favorite celebrity. You really didn't, yeah.
Lisa, I didn't really have much conversation to like not like them. I guess it would say like, I train high net worth individuals, so you learn like how they tick, I guess. And I trained this one lady one time, and she came in drinking a Captain and Coke on the treadmill, and I was like, this is crazy, and she's like doing her own thing. You couldn't tell her anything, even
This is
if,
at the Four Seasons?
Yeah.
So you were kind of like an employee or a paid employee at the Four Seasons.
I was an independent contractor, so they hired me to come in and I represent the hotel.
And correct me, this is after you moved back from Connecticut, you went back there?
I went back there. I trained. I became the vice president of this company after personal training there for about 3 years. Became the vice president, which...
What year was what year was this?
2015, 14. And then I ended up residing from that company and starting my own company, which then I became the head trainer for the Four Seasons and then ran my own practice.
So after Four Seasons came Raise the Standard.
No, yes. I moved back here and I started Raise the Standard with one of my
Before you
best
moved
friends.
back to New York, how long were you in Connecticut though? Like when you said I miss my family, like how long was that period before
2014, and then I moved back to New York, and then
because you wanted to give it another shot,
Yeah.
and that's when the
Yeah.
guy said find a job and I'll help
Yeah.
you. Okay.
yeah.
So now we're at like 2015, 16. You've done the Four Seasons thing, trained these celebrities. Now it's about time to start your own business, which led to Raise the Standard.
Yeah,
So
and I
get
came
into
back
that.
here with COVID. COVID made me come
You
back.
came
here.
back with COVID.
Yeah,
Wait,
I'm trying. My timing is off.
Right.
It's got to be some error of timing. But I came back for COVID, and that's when this kind of.
oh, you came back for COVID. Gotcha.
Yeah, so it might be 2018 and 19 or something.
So you were well established from like down in New York from like 15 to about 19,
Yeah.
2015, 2019.
Yeah.
And now, the Raise the Stand, tell us how you left the Four Seasons and that whole transition period where you eventually got into Raise the Standard.
So I created Raise the Standard with one of my friends, and then You know, it was based on inspiring people.
Where did the name come from? Raise the Standard.
Raise the Standard. I actually heard Tony Robbins say it in one of his quotes, and I said I like that, and it was raise the standard. And I said, you know, I think that we all have standards, we all have things that we go through in life, and I think that you know, I want to start a brand that's going to empower people to be the best version of themselves and make an impact in the process.
Yeah, you're tremendous with it on social media, with the Raise the Standard, and of course the apparel, and your inspiring quotes that you put on Instagram.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Again, I don't do TikTok, but I know one of these days maybe I will. But I see them on Instagram, I see them on Facebook, I see them. You really do a good job. What's the key to that? Becoming such a successful digital creator, and knowing when. Do you wake up and just a quote pops into your head and go, I got a great idea for another Raise the Standard video? How does that all happen?
It kind of, well, I would attribute it to other people's stories. Like my successes with social media, with TikTok, has been because I was willing to be vulnerable and take other people's vulnerability and saying, hey, this is my story, these are the obstacles that I've had in my life, and like appreciate them and then share it with social media, which people were able to resonate with. And that's, you know, just being authentic and saying, you know, I'm trying to make an impact, and this is why people like it.
Keith C. Rice doing episode 67 of Hometown Threads on 14 WILI, 95.3 FM, Willimantic Today Facebook, Spectrum 192, and of course the WILI Radio YouTube channel. Nick Poulin is with us, Willimantic native. And of course, this show is brought to you by Liberty Bank, Be Community Kind. We're talking Raise the Standard, which is, am I saying this right? It's Nick's brand. Is that what you call it, or what's the right?
It's Raise the Standard is the brand, and I'm one of the owners.
For those, one of the owners, or
yeah, I have partners.
You have
partners,
private partners.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little about the apparel. Again, you're on radio, you can't see us, but you can. Eventually, you'll see all the show as we do. We post it later in the week on social media on the Keith C. Rice Facebook page. Nick Poulin will share it on his. It'll be on Willimantic Today. You'll see it all over. But you got some really great apparel here. Thanks for the hat. You've updated this. Now, how did the apparel start? Would you start with sweatshirts or what?
It started with hats. It started with hats. We were doing hats in the beginning, and people liked it, and you know, we decided that
it was just hats in the begining.
Yeah.
And how did tell us about how the logo came about? I know it's all about, you got an RTS.
Yeah.
I see it's an RTS. And who designed the logo, really?
Well, I designed it. I wanted to create a monogram, so like something that was simple. Well, it's not simple, but simpler to consume rather than just like something that says Raise the Standard on it. And I really liked it, and that's what I went with.
Awesome. Now, you gave me one, I want to say about 4 or 5 years ago. It was like an army colored, or what color was that?
It was army color. You got the flag on the back. Yeah,
and I remember giving you a plug there on my Instagram and Facebook. It had to be like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And we ran into Nick and his dad at Trolley Trivia Night on Thursdays.
Trolley Pub. Shout out Trolley.
Little pub for the Trolley Pub, and Brian Pichette and the crew. Brian was a guest on Hometown Threads, and we did. Nick and his dad will pop down for Trolley Trivia, and they came down. And I told you, both of you and your dad, that I'm going to get you on Hometown Threads, and here you are. And how about now, being such a huge digital creator and so big on social media? And I'm sure I've seen some of your comments, and millions and thousands of people that reach out to you. There must be sometimes you get some people, the haters out there, where you just gotta look past that. You're such a strong dude, and that doesn't bother you, right? I'm sure you get some negativity out there, which people trying to be clowns.
They say it's like they try to say that I'm like celebrating victimhood and stuff like that, and I just am like, we all have a story, and not everyone knows. Not everyone's walked in their own, someone else's shoes, and I just try to inspire people through my clothing, and I just say, hey, I just keep plugging along and keep making plays.
Yeah, and you do such a phenomenal job. Tell us about, because you said a little while back, a few minutes ago, how some of the obstacles you've overcome. Talk a little about that.
So obstacles, I would say it was more for myself and my family. My sister had leukemia when she was a kid. And
I did not know that.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Yeah. It's when I was young, very young. She had cancer, and my parents were going through all that. And then on the other side of it, we had some other things that happened in our life. So I was in the middle of both of it, and I could have lost both my siblings. And this is kind of something that I realized within this year. Like how I built my character and how much I try to put it out to the world in a positive way. Why I'm that way, and I just said, like, I could have lost two of the people that are, as close to me from two different things. So I guess I had perspective and humility for those obstacles.
You've inspired me, and I tell you, it's just like you have such a laid back, positive demeanor about you, the way you go about, and it's just tremendous. And of course, that says a lot about how you were raised. So big shout out to your wonderful parents, James and Tina.
Yeah,
what a wonderful
my best friends.
Oh, look at that! I love hearing that.
Yeah.
And there's so many great families in this community of ours. I can't. I've had countless family business on this show, and in families in general, and people I've grown up with, and that's one of the reasons why I do Hometown Threads. So in these final few minutes, I'd like you to shout out to. You have like 2 or 3 minutes of talk about Raise the Standard and people you want to show love to that have helped you on this journey. So floor is yours.
I guess I would want, if I could leave here with anything, I would like to tell the youth of Willimantic, like, you guys can do anything you want to do in your life. Don't ever don't let anyone tell you you can't do something. You just gotta keep on it. Don't ever back down. Like, life's always gonna give you struggles, always gonna challenge you. You have to realize that, like, life is short. Don't let people tell you can't do something, and and that's it. I'm a big advocate on the youth. I have a son now, so that's, I guess, why
congratulations.
I say it.
How old?
He's almost 2 years old.
Oh my goodness! Shout out to your wife. Go ahead.
My wife Sophia. She's my rock. She keeps me strong, and I'm so glad I have her.
And speaking of shout outs, you just mentioned Sophia. We mentioned your parents, James and Tina. Anybody else along this crazy, unbelievably wonderful journey you've been on that you've inspired so many people, besides your parents and your wife and your child? Is there anybody else you'd like to show love and shout out to?
My family, not even my parents, my Uncle Skip, my sister, my brother, giving me all the love and support through all these years. It's been a hard road. I started this out of a barn.
Out of a barn?
Yeah, with a $150 screen print and press off Amazon, and I just wanted to make an impact in people's lives, and the money wasn't there. Nobody believed in it, but they believed in me because I believed in it, and that took it so that I was like, hey, I just got to keep going. And without them, I don't know if it would have been where it is. So I guess, yeah. And any local community businesses that need any screen printing, I do that as well.
Oh, well, there you go. A little plug for that.
RTSworkhouse.com. If you need any apparel done, I do it for local businesses as well.
Oh, good. Glad we got that in there. And again, why don't we remind people where they can get Raise the Standard stuff?
RaiseTheStandard.com. RaiseTheStandard.com.
And of course, you can always, you're very accessible on all these platforms, right?
You can find me, Nick Poulin.
Nick Poulin on Facebook. And again, what's the Instagram and TikTok?
Same, Nicholas, NICHOLAS _Poulin, POULIN.
Thanks for everything, man.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Can I ever talk about maybe a personal trainer down the road?
Yeah, I got a gym at my warehouse.
Ooh, so. I got to get back in shape. All right, episode 67 of Hometown Threads in the books. Big thanks to Nick Poulin and his wonderful family, Poulin family, wonderful people. Thank you, J. Matt Rupar, behind the board. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Liberty Bank, Be Community Kind, Tripoli, ProClean Services. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching Hometown Threads on 14 WILI and 95.3 FM. And in the words of the great Roddy McCumber,
bye for now, folks. Bye for now.
And that concludes another edition of Hometown Threads. Got a story for Keith? Reach out to him on Facebook by searching Keith C. Rice, or email him at krice@hallradio.net. Don't forget to tune in next week on 14 WILI and 95.3 FM, as well as the Willimantic Today page on Facebook.